All right, so this is my video discussion for week 3. The video was very interesting. I think it was kind of hard to follow along at times with where she was going with her points. And I think that she probably could have tied it in a little bit better. It was definitely interesting though. A couple of things that I pulled out of it is like, I think we all have creativity at some level that we're just born with, whether we write or we paint or drawing or even like engineering is creative because you're creating something. And I don't think that everybody is going to be famous for their creativity, but the creativity is there to tap into when we need to, which kind of goes into the mental health side because it's there. But mental health does create or foster creativity. I think it's a way for us as people to like attempt to relate our experiences to others in a way that seems less invasive. So using creativity to write poems or to paint the experiences that we've been through. And we see this with kids all the time that go to counseling, as they often use drawing to tap into the trauma that a kid has gone through. And I thought that was just really interesting that she brought up that point in particular. I would think about the kids that I've fostered throughout the years or mentored or in some way. And a lot of those kids were extremely creative. I would say probably the majority, if not all of them, were extremely creative in one way or another. They were either artistic musically, or they did art, or they did poetry, or even just thinking outside of the box for things like finding a way to make money, or how they sneak out of the house. I had a kid who was extremely good at sneaking out of the house, and we had no idea for months. Their brains just go about it in a different way because of their trauma. So I'm like, her point about moral ambiguity was really interesting. Doing the kin and culture class that last term, it kind of tied into a lot of that, being able to look at another culture and be able to step outside of what we see as right or wrong to really understand. But how can you be morally ambiguous in a creative sense? Like I really struggled with that side of it. So I didn't quite understand how that really affects creativity necessarily. I understand how it affects our worldview and how we view other cultures and all of that. But if we aren't directly writing about places or people where we would need that understanding, I don't see how that would be part of the creative process for a lot of other things. Her comment about absolute truths, I'm going to disagree with because I think she's wrong. I think there are absolute truths in the world, but from a creative sense, being able to set aside what is or what we believe to look at what could be, would definitely get creative juices flowing. Imagine being in a story. I do this all the time, like just reading. I think it does breed compassion because we have to put ourselves in a position that we wouldn't necessarily otherwise feel that. I think it would help my writing to remember that point for sure. So overall, it was a very interesting video, but, and I agree with some things and there were some things I didn't agree with, but I think she definitely could have worked on her delivery a little bit better.